Hi everyone. Today's video is all about black bamboo. First, I would like to tell you a few interesting facts about bamboo. Then I will talk you through the growing conditions that it needs. Then I will also talk about and show you how bamboo grows and how you can control it. And last but not least, I will explain to you two options for propagation, and I will also show you how to prune bamboo. Let's get started with the facts. Bamboo in general is part of the grass family of plants, which I find quite interesting because you wouldn't think that looking at bamboo. The second fact is that this black bamboo, specifically this one here, is called Phyllostachys nigra. There may be different pronunciation for this. That's the Latin name, and for your reference in case you want to get the same bamboo. This bamboo is native to Southeast China, but it has been cultivated all over the world. It can grow in its natural and native environments to a height of up to 10 meters or 32 feet. And the cane thickness, so the actual bamboo canes here, they can reach a thickness of up to 2 inches or 5 centimeters. Bamboo has an incredible life cycle of up to 100 years, and this black bamboo belongs actually to the flowering bamboo family. That means once in the lifetime, black bamboo flowers, and this happens every 40 to 60 years. And interestingly, the flowering cycle happens pretty much at the same time worldwide, because most bamboos come from cuttings, so our essential clones, and this is why you can encounter this flowering of the bamboo all around the world at pretty much the same time. The last cycle for this black bamboo started in the year 2008. Next, let's talk about the growing conditions for bamboo. First of all, the soil requirements. Bamboo needs a lighter, nutrient-rich, well-draining soil. We have here in our garden a loam type of soil. This type of soil is a little bit harder and a little bit more compact, but it can retain quite a lot of water, so the bamboo is fine with that. Generally speaking, bamboo will grow in pretty much any normal type of soil and in any normal type of soil pH. In fact, it grows actually from a pH of acidic all the way to slightly alkaline, so it's the range is a bit larger than normal plant pH ranges. As for the watering requirements, this bamboo can stand drier periods, but it should be kept moist. So if it's dry for maybe a couple of days, that's okay. But if it doesn't rain or if the weather is too dry, it should be watered to keep the soil moist. Black bamboo grows in zones 7 to 11. We are in a zone 6, and it's perfectly fine with a zone 6 as well. It is hardy down to a temperature of negative 20 degrees centigrade, that's negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And for fertilizing, this bamboo technically doesn't need fertilizer. I used to fertilize the bamboo on a yearly basis when the plant was still smaller, so after it came out from the pot. These days actually we do not fertilize the bamboo anymore because it grows so well. If you do want to fertilize it, a nitrogen-rich fertilizer or alternatively just compost soil is actually a quite good fertilizer. As for the position in the garden, black bamboo can grow in any position from partial shade to full sun. This bamboo here has sun in the mornings and in the late afternoon and evenings, but it has a shaded position during the midday hours. Now I would like to show you how this bamboo grows. Black bamboo is a running type of bamboo. That means it spreads further from the original plant than a clumping type of bamboo would do. The spread actually happens underground, and you can see on this piece here that I'm holding, that's a piece of that black bamboo that we dug out. You can see this part here, and this is called a rhizome. So this rhizome is the underground system of the bamboo. Where we live, this grows at a depth of about 10 centimeters, that's approximately 4 inches, or maybe even shallower. How deep these rhizomes go into the ground depends on the local growing conditions, on the soil, on the climate, and other factors. Now, from these rhizomes, you will get nodes, and you can see a node here. And a node is basically the start of a new cane. You can see here this is a node that started to grow. And from this node, in the growing season, you will get this cane here. So this is clipped off here. This is the bamboo you actually see. And this grows out from these rhizomes at each node and comes out from the ground. Bamboo has a growing cycle of only 3 months. That means when the growing season starts, when exactly this is, again, depends on your local climate and the growing conditions. These rhizomes will get active. From these nodes, you will start to see these canes coming out of the ground. And then these canes, as they come out, they already have their final thickness. So they will not get any thicker. And then within 3 months approximately, they will grow to their final height. So this can be, as I said before, in the native environment up to 10 meters or 32 feet. Here where we are, the bamboo grows to about 5 meters, that's about 16 feet. These rhizomes, they can spread from 0.5 meters or 1.6 feet up to a length to 8 meters or 26 feet. Again, this depends on where the bamboo grows and how much it likes the growing conditions. So we encounter, I would say on average, rhizomes with a length of up to 2 meters. That's approximately 6 or 7 feet, but not any longer than that in one growing season. Next, let me show you how the cane color changes over the years. So I have 2 cut off pieces of cane here, and you see on this one that this color is actually green, and it's starting to get black around the nodes here. And this is because black bamboo, despite the name, comes out as green cane. And then over the next 2 to 3 years, this cane, like you can see on that one, is starting to turn black bit by bit. So after a few years, you'll have completely black canes. One more point worth mentioning with black bamboo, because it's a running type of bamboo, is that it's advisable to check before you buy it actually from nurseries, because in some areas in the world, running bamboo is classified as an invasive species and is actually prohibited to plant. So make sure you check that out before you plant this type of bamboo. Let me also show you a close-up here of these canes, so maybe Adam can come a bit closer. And so you don't see it on just 2 cut pieces, you see it how it really looks. So this one, for example, is a cane that is older. This was probably from the original plant because it's quite thin. And you see this is completely black, as opposed to this cane. This is most likely from the last growing season. And you see this is still completely green. So it's a very nice looking plant. And you get this mix of green and black as well. Now, in order to control it, so the best way to control this running type of bamboo is actually to use a root block. When you buy this plant in the nurseries, they typically come in sizes of about 1 meter, that's about 3 feet. And when you take them out of the pot, and depending on how long they have been in the pot, you will most likely find that the rhizomes I showed you before go in a circle inside the pot. That's because normally they would grow out, but because they're constrained by the pot, they can't do that, so they start to encircle the plant. When you plant the bamboo, from our experience in the first about 3 years, not a lot happens regarding running rhizomes. This is because the plant needs some time to be established. It could, of course, be that in climate zones where the bamboo grows better or easier, this is a lot faster, but on average is like it starts to run after 3 years. And you do notice that from year 3 and going into year 4 and 5, that the bamboo starts to build more and more rhizomes. And this needs to be controlled, otherwise you'll have it everywhere in your garden. And in order to do that, I'll show you here what you can do. And this is a root block. You can see that sticking out here. A root block is basically a rigid piece of plastic. And it's available in nurseries or online stores. And it comes with a closure, with a metal closure. So it's important to put that root block in before you plant the bamboo. That's a lot easier. And then close it off properly, because if it's just like put together like this, then the bamboo will just grow through it. So it needs to be closed off. And this makes sure that the bamboo and the rhizomes stay within this barrier you define for your own bamboo. Regarding the depth of this root block, for this type of bamboo, it should go down to about 90 centimeters, that's 3 feet. For us here, because the growing conditions aren't as ideal as the native conditions, this root block is actually only a third of that, so it's about 1 foot deep or 30 centimeters deep, and that's, for us, it's sufficient. But again, it depends on the soil type and the climate where you grow the bamboo, how deep the rhizomes go. And if we look over there, I will show you how this looks. And you can see here that here is the barrier, the root block, and this is a rhizome that has been growing along the root block, and then at one point they actually come out and they may go back in. So you see this is the end of it, and when this year's growing season starts, this one would probably go back into the ground and keep growing. Another one you see here, that one is starting to grow this direction, so to the away from the bamboo, to the outside of the barrier, but this will be stopped by the root barrier we have in there. Normally, these root barriers, and that's exactly the reason for it, they should be placed so that about 10 centimeters or 4 inches should actually be above the soil. And that's for exactly this reason, as you can see here, because if that cane, you see here it is, would grow over this cane and the root barrier is flush with the soil, like you can see here, it actually grows over the root barrier. So that's why it's normally recommended to have the root barrier about there, then this cannot happen. The alternative, and this is what we do, we check this regularly during the growing season and cut these rhizomes off so it cannot grow any further. In order to give you an example how invasive this bamboo can be and how important it is that the root block is properly closed off, I will tell you what happened to us. A few years after we planted this bamboo, we noticed canes coming out at the back of the stone wall. And that was because the root block we put in is just in front of the bamboo, but not along the stone wall behind it. And we did it like that because we thought there is no way that this bamboo will grow through the stone wall and up at the back. But it did. And this is what we actually dug out the other day. And this is one part of the rhizomes I showed you before. So again, if we had known that, then we would have actually put in the root block all the way around. So you see how high this stone wall is, so not even that stops this type of bamboo if it likes where it grows and if it wants to spread. So make sure when you plant this to put in a proper root block and close it off properly.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how big a job is it digging out bamboo?
It was a big job. It is not easy. We had to dig down behind the stone wall at 3 different places. In fact, we had to disassemble a bit of this stone wall on the sides that isn't that high to get the rhizome out. And we did that actually twice already. We did it 2 years ago, and then we did it again just this year, catching up from last year actually. And where we saw the rhizome that we cut in the first year when we did it, and from there it had built a new cluster of growth, and 5 new shoots came out from that one cluster. So I really recommend putting a root block all the way around to save yourself that job, because it was a big one. There are 2 options to propagate bamboo. Option number 1 is that you take the bamboo plants that you buy in the nursery, which is typically small, and you can see a cane of about this size. This is typical for a nursery plant, so they're quite young. And you take out the plant from the pot, and then you can just split it in half or in more pieces. We have done it with the second plant we have of this black bamboo, and this works really well. So then you can just make out of one plant several smaller plants and plant them in a row as a hedge, for example, or as screening, or in different places in the garden. Option number 2, you could take a piece, and I'm showing you again here this piece, or one of the pieces we dug out. You can take a piece of rhizome, and it's important to take a piece that has nodes. You see, for example, this one here, or here's another node, and also a piece that has a lot of roots. You see this piece, these are the normal roots where they draw their nutrients, and they're quite strong. So this piece would have probably been a very good piece to propagate the bamboo. And then you can just, after you have cut it off from the original plant, you can plant it in a pot. Is probably better for the beginning, and keep it moist. The soil should not be too wet, otherwise this may rot, but it should be kept moist, and then it should start growing. As always with propagation, there's no guarantee, but that's another way how to get more of these bamboo plants. Finally, I'm going to show you how to prune bamboo. So remember, before you do that the canes grow to their full height in their first and only growing season. So that means once you have cut the piece off, that's it, the cane will not grow any taller. On this bamboo, we have actually done some rough pruning work already last year, because it was growing way too tall. And you can see what happens here. So if Adam can come a bit closer, then I can show you. You see this bamboo was cut at this node, and this bit has died back to the next node where there are actually leaves coming out. And so now I will show you how to prune it best. Basically, you determine, or you choose the height of your bamboo, how high you want it, and we will be pruning this bamboo properly now. And this cane is fine to be here, and I'm just cutting above the node, just like so, with a little bit of an angle you see here. And then this branch here with the leaves, this will continue growing. So bamboo shades the leaves throughout the growing season, but it always develops new leaves. Just this cane will not grow taller anymore. Other than the cane, you can also cut these side branches. This is totally personal preference. We want to clean up this bamboo as well a little bit around the sides, and so I'm shortening these as well. And also here you basically cut it just above a node. You see, it's the same principle as with the canes, and I just do a cut here, and that's it. So this normally should not grow out anymore either. And there's another one at the bottom down here, that's a bit too long. So almost a bit too thin for the secateurs, and that's it. For cutting, I've been using my secateurs, but actually this is only good for thinner canes. If the canes get any thicker, it's advisable to use branch cutters, because they are quite hard. Okay, I will keep going with pruning this bamboo, and that brings me to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye.